In this tutorial we will go through how to change filament for the Ultimaker 2 Plus, how to adjust the bed if it needs leveling, and how to start your print. Your first step is to check the Bowden tube if you have any filament in it. In our case we do not, so we need to insert some material. The easiest way to do this is to use your scroll wheel right here and go to material, then you press it once. You get to this part of the menu, go to the left and you'll select change. What's happening now is that the nozzle is going to heat up to 210 degrees because we're using PLA. Don't touch it, you will burn yourself. And while you're printing, while we're on the subject of heat, the build plate will get up to around 50-60 degrees as well, so don't touch that either. So what it's doing now, it's reversing the material by the extruder on the back. Okay, so we've removed our material since we don't have any in it. At this stage we press ready to go to the next step. Here we choose our material and you can see the thickness, the temperature of the bed and the nozzle, and the fan speed. PLA will always be on the top, and that's the one you're going to select because we're only going to print with PLA. Now that we're at this step, you can hear the extruder motor trying to feed the material, so that's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around the printer. Now, when you take your spool, you want to make sure you have it in this orientation, so it feeds upwards like this and not downwards, because that would just, then it can get tangled and all sorts of things. Take your material, and underneath here there's a small hole for the extruder. Press in the material and give it a little bit of pressure. You don't have to do an awful lot. And when you can feel that it's slowly being fed into the Bowden tube, you know that you've done it right. Then you can turn the machine back like this again, and you press ready. Now the extruder will feed the material through the Bowden tube all the way down to the nozzle. When it's in the nozzle, it will start to build up a bit of pressure, and then it will come out of the heated up nozzle. So it will take a little while, don't worry. Once you can see the material that you've inserted is the same color as that's coming out, you can press ready. Okay, now that you've done that, you can go back to the main menu by going to return. Then you can select print. Then you can select your model. It will most likely be on the bottom since you've added it last. Then you can press it. If the filament isn't getting stuck to your bed properly, or if you can see through the filament, like it's a bit see-through on the build plate, you'll need to adjust your bed a bit. So what you do is you go down to maintenance, you press it, and then you select the option build plate, and then you follow the steps until completion. So you press continue, and the build plate will go up. In this step you can check if there's any debris under the nozzle, because if there is, it won't be correctly leveled. You can start off by having something that's 1 millimeter thick. You can fold the paper a couple of times for the first step. So what you do is you put it underneath like this, and then you can raise the build plate using the scroll wheel. Keep in mind that this will only work for the part where it's in the back here. And you want it to go up, and you want to slide the paper back and forth until you can feel a bit of resistance. So it's not supposed to be stuck, but you can feel like the nozzle is like digging into the paper ever so slightly. Once you feel that, you press continue, and you'll go to the other side. And what you need to do then is to fine tune it with these screws on the end. So the tighter you make the screw, the further away the build plate will be from the nozzle. Yeah, and you go to the next step, do the same thing, yeah, something like that. Then you press continue, And now we're going to do the same thing with just a normal sheet of paper that's not folded in any way. And this is where you need to be a little bit more precise. So when you can feel the paper. If you feel like it jumps a little bit too much, you can also adjust the screw in the back. But this feels good in our case. Might have to tighten it a little bit. Like so. And you're only supposed to have a little bit of resistance. If you see that you're getting marks in the paper, you're doing it a bit too hard. And then you're done, you've leveled the bed.